Right, welcome back to Tipsy Tailgate Media. I'm Aiden,
I am Ben.
and we're back, baby. Week 3 coming up. No, I just completely fucked it up.
Week two, Aiden. I believe it is
I
week two.
I was looking at week 2 also. No,
Yeah.
we're gonna run that from the
It's
top.
week three of the college season.
No, we're gonna run that from the top because I was literally looking at week 2, and I don't know why I said week 3. That was like the weirdest thing I've ever done. All right, welcome back to Tipsy Tailgate Media. We are back. I am Aiden.
I'm Ben.
And we're here for week 2.
Week two,
Uh,
Aiden. It is week
week
two.
2. Week 2 of
One,
the NFL season.
two, and then three.
Three's next. This week is
Yes,
week
correct.
2. We're
You're just
ready to
excited for
go.
week three. You were excited for week three.
Just looking ahead. Just looking ahead. That's all.
Yeah.
We're excited. You know, not the best slate of games, in my honest opinion. I don't think this is the best week of games.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna make do. You know, football's back, so anything's good.
Listen, anything's better than what I've been watching before the football season started, which was mostly, YouTube videos of old football games. So it's good to have the
It's
live
new
ones back.
content. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's new. It's new. It's like
Who
a
has
new
live sports?
It's literally like a new season of your favorite show. So I'm excited.
I love it. So without further ado, let's touch on. We're going to talk about the week 2 picks predictions coming up. We just had the Eagles Vikings game
hmm
last night, or
hmm
last night as we're filming this, and then we're going to touch on week 1 reaction. So
Yeah,
stay tuned for all of that and some great stuff coming. Follow us on all socials, Tipsy Tailgate Media. Let's get into it.
I promise
Chiefs,
you, we're a great follow. We're a great follow.
great follow.
We're my favorite follow, like by far.
Me too. Easily me too.
Outside of Peyton Manning and Omaha Productions, we're the best follow on Instagram. So,
I think we're better than them, but
well, it's debatable. It's debatable.
Benny and his pain obsession, but
It's not an obsession. It's more of an admiration than an obsession. Listen, I think if you don't admire the guy, you're an idiot. So that's where I stand on that one.
I think we feel the same way. But I'm more of a Brady guy, and you're more of a Peyton guy. It's a little
Listen,
give and
I have a
take.
place in my heart for Tom. It's just not a big place.
Smaller place. You have a bigger place
It's
for
much
Peyton.
smaller.
It's a little smaller.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
about the opposite there, but
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, to each their own. You're just wrong in this instance. Won't be the last time you're wrong in this episode. So let's get into it.
let's do it. Chiefs at Jags. Jacksonville is +3, so they're 3-point underdogs here. The over/under set at 51 points. This is going to be an interesting game. I
Yeah.
think we had a lot of situations last week where we thought, "Is this game of the week? Is this game of the week?" I
hmm
think one of them we settled on was Eagles or Cowboys Giants. That was definitely not
And
the
that
game
was
of the
awful.
week.
That was awful.
But what we did end up,
We also said Steelers and Niners. We were off last week.
yeah, no, we
We
were
were
real
off.
off.
That was awful. That game sucked.
We were really
We were
off.
right about the
So
Bengals. We were right about
yes,
the Bengals.
yes, the Bengals started off slow, and we're going to get to them in 2 games following this one. But Chiefs at Jacksonville, like I said, Jags are the underdogs. They're getting 3 points. Um, I think this game's interesting. I think
Yeah.
this game is for sure game of the week.
hmm
Let's see if we could hit this
We'll
time.
see. Now that we said that, the Chiefs are probably going to blow them out like 50-3. So,
Yeah, well, so it's interesting because now Chris Jones has
hmm
come back finally out of his
yep.
holdout from the I think he lost around $3 million, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, give or take, in that holdout. And then he didn't even get what he wanted. He
No.
wanted, guaranteed deal,
Nope.
guaranteed
And you only
years.
got the 1 year as well.
Exactly, with incentives. He's most likely out of the door following the season. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. But he's back for this game, first game of the season for him. And so is it for Travis Kelce, who has suffered a leg injury in the beginning of the season, right around at the end of training camp, practicing for that week 1, I believe. So now we're going to get the new look Chiefs, for lack of a better word,
Chiefs. New look.
and this Jags team that gritted out a win
hmm
against the Colts last week. Wasn't
hmm
pretty, but
Nope.
they ended up turning it around and getting that win. So, what do you think about this game, Ben? Who do you like?
Yeah, I just like you said, to me it's probably the most intriguing game of week 2, maybe outside of Baltimore and Cincy. I know you said we're going to touch upon that a bit later. But to me, this has major implications on how the Chiefs season is going to go. Even if they lose this week, I'm still taking them to even win that division. I don't think that's in question if they lose. But I think it is important that they get the taste of that loss on last Thursday out of their mouth as soon as possible. And the best way to do that would be by beating a team that most people expect to be in contention for the AFC at the end of the year. Um, but but against my better judgment, I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game. I think that they got a little bit of mojo, as you just said, gritted out that win.
Yep.
I think Jones is going to be rusty. I think that D line looked phenomenal last week against the Lions, but I think that putting him back in there might mess up some of the chemistry that they had. Obviously, he hasn't been playing much football. And Travis Kelsey, I think he'll have a more seamless transition than Chris Jones, obviously, given that he's been with the team the whole offseason. All he really missed was, I mean, in all honesty, about what, 4 days, including the game. That's all he
Mhm.
really missed. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jacksonville to win this game. I think that Jacksonville is special. And I think that the Chiefs are going to deal with some issues here in the first month. I think they start 2-2. I think they lose today, or not today, this week rather, and then win their next two after that. But yeah, I'm not expecting the Chiefs to turn it around right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying here. I actually think it's going to be the opposite. I think Chris Jones under fresh legs is going to
Hmm.
be a beast right out of the gate. And then I think Travis Kelsey, with quite literally not fresh legs, I think that injury was a little bit worse than they made it seem. But I think after week one, they made it realize
They really had
we
no
need him
option.
back. And at worst, he's a decoy for some of these plays to draw some attention away from the other receivers on this
Hmm.
team that struggled mightily in week one. So what I'm thinking is it's going to be a little bit rougher of a game for Kelsey. Whether that's a red zone touchdown being rough for him in his standards. So we'll see what happens. I agree it's going to be a close game. I think Jags +3 is a bet that's interesting because I do
Yeah,
think it's going to be a close game. I don't know who exactly I want to take yet. This has been one of the games I've been going back and forth on. Just to differ, I can't see the Chiefs going 0-2 or 0 for 2. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say the Chiefs are gonna win, but I think Jags might cover at 3. It'll be close.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you took the words out of my mouth right there. It's going to be an incredibly close game. The only thing that I could see blowing one team blowing the other one out is if one of the quarterbacks throws a bad pick in a bad spot, and if
Yeah,
one quarterback were to do it in this game, it would be Trevor Lawrence. So, um, yeah, but I don't see that happening. I see the Jags playing clean football. I think people are forgetting in this game that the Jags are implementing some new pieces as well, and Calvin Ridley seemed to be a perfect fit, but I expect that to be even better going forward. So I'm going to
yeah.
stick with the Jags. I'm going to stick with the Jags in this one.
I think it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a fun watch for everyone. Raiders at Bills is not gonna be that great of a watch because I think the Bills are gonna smoke them. They have 8. They're favored by 8.5 points. The over under is 47. I have been the first one to say, even going back last year, before the no in the postseason, I believe, or in the playoffs, I was saying that the Bills, I don't expect them to be good next year or great next year. I think they'll be solid, solid as not less than everyone expected them to be at least. And I think that's trend's going to continue throughout the year. But I think the Raiders are just not a great team, and I think the Bills will cover it -8.5. This is one of the bets I'm taking for the week. What do you think, Ben?
I'm going to take the Bills to win, but I don't see it being a blowout like you do. I think it's going to be a hard fought game. I don't think that Josh Allen's out of his funk yet. I don't see that happening
Yeah,
immediately. I think he still struggles a bit in this game. And the thing with Allen, I know that a lot of people were addressing it last year a little bit, but now they're kind of hopping on it even more. He really wasn't that good at the end of last season. He really
yeah,
wasn't. He didn't have his mechanics down. I know that you were talking about this a lot last year. Dable was so important for him in that
exactly.
Bills offense, but him most significantly, I would say, addressing his mechanics. And it's gone to shit since Dayball went to the Giants. So I
Hmm.
see Allen struggling again this week, and I think it's going to show just how much he is struggling because, as you said, Oakland or Vegas now isn't a good team. They're really not. And I think that the Bills are just going to squeak by in this one.
All right. I mean, I completely agree. Everything you said. I was going to say, do you think Josh Allen has been struggling because of some type of funk that he's just going to get out of,
Hmm.
through seeing more reps, better, weapons, whatever it is? Or do you think it's actually regression that Dable's gone? And
No, I do think it's a
yeah,
mix of the two. I think he is in
yeah.
a funk, but I also think that he has regressed as a quarterback. So I don't think the two are mutually exclusive.
Mm.
I think he is worse than he was a few years ago, but I think a lot of that has to do with Dable being gone.
I agree, and it's gonna be interesting to see throughout the year. But we both see the Bills taking this one. Now, next up, this game's gonna be fun. Ravens at Bengals. Bengals are home here, and they are favored by 3 points, coming
Hmm.
off an abysmal loss in Week
Hmm.
One. Over under set at 46.5, or yeah, 46.5. What do we think, Ben? Ravens, Bengals. A little bit of a history there.
Yeah,
Two good quarterbacks. What do you
I'm gonna
think?
take the Bengals in this one, and I think the Bengals beat them pretty handily.
Oh
I think
wow.
they win by 2 scores. I think that Lamar, he said it himself, he's still rusty and he's still dealing with some stuff. They're still implementing new pieces and a new system. So I think that they're gonna not get completely blown out, but I could easily see the Bengals winning by 10 points.
About to write down these picks, Benny. Matter of fact. Matter of fact. Okay, so this is a game that's interesting to me. I could see the Bengals getting going. T. Higgins. I don't even think he
Hmm.
caught a pass in Week 1.
I
That
don't think he
cannot,
did.
and that won't stay. It won't stay like that.
I don't think
So
that'll happen again for the rest of the season. I really
yeah,
don't.
I think the Ravens might come into an issue where Dobbins was their plan at running back finally, and he was finally healthy. And then
Hmm.
after Week 1, he's out for the season, torn Achilles.
Yep.
Now they're kind of like, all right, we're already starting with these injuries. There has to be some type of mood, like dampered mood in the
Right.
locker room where they're like,
Right.
we just can't win. So it's tough. This is a tough game for me. I think it'll be close. I can't even tell you if I think it's going to go over or under because I could see it being a low scoring game or I could see it being a shootout. With that said, though, I'm going Bengals. I agree. I'm just going to take the money line though in this situation. Not, I don't think they'll cover 3. It'll be a close one. I think at least. And like you said, it's going to be an interesting matchup because this is easily one of those games that we're going to see down the stretch when it means
Oh yeah.
more,
Oh yeah.
and when both teams are hitting their stride. So it's going to be
Yeah.
a good game to monitor.
I think that this team, I mean, we saw it last year. They could easily play each other 3 times. The
Yeah.
2 games in division, the regular season, and then again in a playoff game. So I think that this has, I think this will serve as a good precursor for what's to come for these two.
Yep. Now onto the Seahawks at Detroit against the Lions. Lions
Hmm.
obviously took that big win in that
Hmm.
season opener against the Chiefs. Now they are favored 5 points against the
Yeah.
Seahawks team. Seahawks team that
Yeah.
made the playoffs last year.
Hmm.
47.5 is the over under. How do we feel about this one, Ben? I think personally, I think this game is going to be very, very competitive.
Yep.
I think the Seahawks, this is really big for them because
Yeah.
it's one of those things where people could see them either falling back to their regression to down to earth from what they were the year prior to what they did last year, or at
Hmm.
least in the first half,
Yep.
or you could see them being dominant this year, taking another step in their competitive team. I know a lot of people actually I've seen took them to win that division over the 49ers, which I think is a little crazy because the
Yeah. A
Niners
little
are just
wild.
so dominant.
Little wild.
But I mean, that shows you the amount of respect they have around the league. With that said, I love the Lions, man. I
Yeah.
one of the
Yep.
things I've been monitoring, one of the picks I was considering, didn't take it, and I'm not going to. Seahawks +5, I think is interesting. I think it'll be close. With that said, I mean, I think the Lions going out there and taking that Week 1 win, opener, all that pressure against a team like the Chiefs, you have to give them credit and you have to be confident in them doing it against a team like the Seahawks, who are obviously going to be less competitive, less, maybe not less competitive, less prepared than a team like Andy Reid and Mahomes is, quarterbacking. So it'll be an interesting game. I'm going with the Lions. I don't want to take any of the points here, or the over under. Like I said, I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't see it really being a shootout
Hmm.
necessarily. I could see it being a closer game and lower scoring.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're on the same page here. I like how you talked about how this is important from Seattle's perspective, and of course, I agree with that definitely. They want to get back on the right track after that big surprise year that they had last year, and they want to prove that they are legit. I also think this is a really important game from Detroit's perspective
Yeah.
because now it's like, okay, you won week one against the defending champs, regardless of whether they're missing Kelsey and Jones. You beat the defending champs in a week one on Thursday Night Football. When's the last time Detroit had a win like that?
Yeah.
Now it's how do you handle that success and how do you go forward with the rest of your season? You're used to being the underdog. You're not used to being favored by 5 points in these games. You're used to being the underdog
Agreed.
that everyone likes to take at plus 5.5. You're used to being the Seahawks in this instance. So I want to
Agreed.
see how Detroit handles that. I'm going to take Detroit to win this game because I think they are a different team with a different culture. But I think this is really important and it's really telling of how far they've come.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. And the Seahawks are a matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact turning it around post Russ, post
Yep.
Legion of Boom era. So on to this next game: Chargers at Titans. Titans are the home team here, and they are given 3 points here as underdogs. 45.5 is the over under. I think the Chargers are going to win this game. Um, I think the Chargers aren't going to go down 0-2. I just think they're too good of a team this
Mm-hmm.
year. I think last week was just, bad draw. They got the Dolphins when they decided to just go berserk on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really close game on top of that, Tyreek had an insane performance and they still kept it close.
Yeah, easily the
You
best
know,
performance across the league.
yeah, I mean he's just insane. We'll touch on that in a little bit here, and so I'm gonna go Chargers. I think Chargers money line. No Eckler is something to keep an eye out on. He is hurt.
Horrifying for them. I think that's horrifying for them.
I agree. I think it is a big thing, but what I do think it will do is I think it'll let them be like, all right, like let our quarterback finally
Yep.
just start
It's
chucking
his
it. How many
moment.
weapons do
It's
they
his
have?
moment.
You got Keenan, you got Mike Williams, you got Quentin
Gerald Everett.
Johnson, Gerald Everett. I mean, you have guys that can go up there and make plays. So let him do it. Let Herbert
Yeah.
go for 400. Like, if
Yeah.
you have to, you have to. And I think the Titans are a team that I mentioned this year that I could see them kind of falling into a rebuild, and they might not have DeAndre Hopkins. He was a no show at practice today, so that's something
He
too.
was a
No
no-show
Eckler,
at
no Hopkins.
practice.
Yeah.
Like he just didn't show up.
Oh well, I'm not sure if it. I think the report I remember seeing is that he didn't show up, but that could have just been injury. He wasn't there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Questionable
I
is his tag for the game though.
I think he definitely made the wrong choice in his free agency decision, but
He
that's
did.
neither here nor there. I think that the Chargers will win. I agree with you in that sense. I think Vrabel's going to make it very difficult for Herbert, especially him not having a security blanket. Who is Austin Eckler? I know they have a lot of weapons, like you just said, but the guy he's dumping off to and the guy who
Agreed.
protects him a
Yeah.
lot is Austin Eckler. So I think that's wildly concerning for Herbert and the Chargers that they don't have Eckler. And I think Vrabel is one of those coaches like Bill Belichick who knows how to take away what you do best.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming off that Belichick tree.
Yep.
And now that it's really only like who's the guy that you trust right now? I know Williams is good. I know Everett's very good. I know Williams is very good. But Keenan Allen's the guy that you trust now. Like
Yeah.
he's your guy right now. They're going to take him away. So I want to see what Herbert's able to do, needing to get the ball to Everett, needing to get it to Williams, get Palmer involved. I want to see Herbert in that situation. I think he can do it. I'm pretty sure he can do it. But I think we're getting to the point where we need to see him do that and take that step in his progression.
Yeah, big game for the Chargers and big game
Yeah.
for Herbert. Both agreed with that one. Should be a fun watch though. Obviously,
Yeah.
like you said, Vrabel is going to keep it close, like he always does. Now we got the Packers at Falcons. Falcons are 1.5 point favorites. 40.5 is the over on this game. A little bit interesting. I think the Packers will kind of come down to earth a little bit. They week one they played a Bears team that I
Is
think will
horrible. They are horrible. They're
well, we're gonna
horrible.
get to them. I think it'll be. I think they'll be a solid team. I think that week one, it's kind of expected. Their defense had what, like at least 3 or 4 starters, new starters, I
They were
believe.
pathetic. They looked
Yeah, I mean
pathetic.
they were all over the place, and it's gonna take time. It's chemistry. Now the way that preseason works, you're not playing with starters. Like
Right.
most of the time, you're not playing
Right.
with these guys to learn. So I'll give them 3 weeks before I start to worry at least a little bit. So I think the Packers will fall down to earth a little bit more. They should have Christian Watson back, which will be a help. But I'm not really too confident on who I think is going to win this game. If I had to pick, I will go Packers. I think the Packers will win. But a pick I like here is I think 40.5. I think the over here. Two teams. I like the Packers defense a lot,
Hmm.
but the
Hmm.
Falcons just have a lot of youth and a lot
Yeah.
of speed.
Hmm.
Their running game is dangerous. Their running backs out of the backfield is dangerous. Kyle Pitts and Drake London need to get more targets, but if they get going, they're going to be dangerous. I think this it's a lot of points, a possibility for points here. Falcons defense, I do not love. So the Packers are going to put up some points. 40.5, I think, is low. I'll take the over, and I think the Packers are going to win, but I'm not too confident on that, to be honest.
Yeah. I think this game comes down to, I know that Jones was questionable earlier today. I don't know if they have confirmed. Do you know if they've confirmed whether or not he's going
Uh,
to play?
I haven't seen anything that he's not going to play, so I'd say he's trending
Okay.
towards playing.
If Aaron Jones plays, I'll take the Packers. If he's out, I'm going with the Falcons. I think that's too much to ask of Jordan Love, who's only in his third start. He started a game last year.
I no,
Um,
I think last week was his first career start.
okay,
Actually,
so
yeah,
then in
it's a
his
lot of
second
pressure.
start, playing without two of your outside of yourself, the two most important players on your offense, maybe Bakhtiari as well. Um, but having to play without Jones or Christian Watson, that's just a disaster scenario for any guy who's in his second start when those are easily your two best weapons. I know that some of their other guys were very impressive, but Watson and Jones are the guys on that team, and I honestly think AJ Dillon blows. I think he sucks at football. Um, so yeah, if Aaron Jones isn't available, I'm not going to take the Packers because AJ Dillon he's not it. He sucks.
He's never done much for my fantasy
No,
team,
he
so I'd
blows,
have
and
to
it's
agree.
like for the last 5 years. I feel like this guy's been in the league since 1985 because every year it's like, oh, upside player for fantasy AJ Dillon. All right, he got 500 yards the whole season. Like what the fuck? He sucks. But yeah, I don't like
No,
AJ
you're
Dillon.
right.
I think he can be fine in spurts, but yeah, I think that there's a lot more upside than actual production with AJ Dillon. I don't think he's very good.
Yeah. Um, Up to this next game, Bears are at Bucks. Bucks are 2.5 point favorites here. Over unders at 41. I feel pretty confident on this game. Bears money line. Bears plus 2.5. I feel even better on. Give me, you pick your poison. I like them at 2.5, but I am confident that I think they're going to take this win. So I'll take a money line. I think the Bears are going to come out. I think they're going to play much better. Justin Fields looked really tense, week one. I think that's just comes with the pressure. It comes with the Burrow syndrome, not getting his reads down, nothing like that. Rashawn Johnson looked good. And they're going to have to get their receivers involved. They're going to have to get Cole Kmet involved. The defense is going to be a little bit better, I believe, because of more reps, more chemistry. And, you're playing against Baker Mayfield, so he's good for 2 picks.
I've become a low key Bucks fan. I
Oh,
have.
no.
You know that I believed in
What
them
did
a
Tom
bit.
do? What did Tom do?
I believed in them a bit before the season.
I know you did. No,
I'm not
I know
hopping
you
on the
did.
bandwagon. I believe in them,
You
and
have, you have.
I think Baker after that first quarter, and you know I am a bit of a Baker fan, so I might be a bit biased on this one.
A bit more than bit, but
Yeah, well, he was objectively phenomenal in the last three quarters of that game
yes,
against Minnesota. He was
yes,
great, and he
yep.
stepped up in big moments, made some big plays. Him and Mike Evans already have great chemistry with one another. Now, I don't think that Godwin is what he used to be, and I think they might need to bring
A
in,
lot of
if they
injuries,
find
yeah.
success, bring in another weapon for Baker to use. But that offense was clicking last week, and Baker was getting the ball out quickly. You could see he was already setting protections for himself. He was calling good audibles at the line. You saw him and Evans communicating on the sideline. I think that team has some good energy, and I'm going to take them to win the division. I'm going to take them to win
Ooh,
the NFC South, and I think they take care of business against the Bears this week. I think they turn over Justin Fields a couple times, so I'm going to take the Bucks to win 24-10 this week.
oh. So you got him big time. Okay. I mean,
I
listen,
like the
I
Bucks.
love
I
the
like the
conviction.
Bucks. I like the Bucks.
I'm much lower on the Bucks than you are, but I do see potential there. This is a roster that is mostly constructed of the same guys that won a Super Bowl a
And
few years
that's
back.
what I've been saying, Aiden. It's really not that different of a team that won the Super Bowl. Outside of what? You take away Gronk and Antonio Brown, and realistically, those were just like super added on pieces. Like Gronk really like he produced and he was very good in the Super Bowl, and I Gronk belonged on that team. Antonio Brown had no business being on that fucking team. Like he really had no business being there. They didn't need him to win.
He wants to
So
go
like
back to the Steelers. Did you
no,
see
you
that?
literally just took away this psychopath off a team. To me, that makes you better. Losing Antonio Brown made the Bucks better. So I think that they're fine. As I said before, maybe add another weapon, and that makes them like a legit playoff contender to me. But that defense, oh man, at times they looked really good against Minnesota. And I know we both agree that Minnesota's defense isn't very good, but their offense is, and we saw it last night again with Kirk. Kirk had a phenomenal game, and Justin Jefferson as well, and they shut them down for the most part. They made things very difficult for them. So I'm going to take the Bucks to win this one handily.
All right. I mean, I think this is we're gonna mark this game down because this will be the game. This will be the Tipsy Bowl
This
of the
could be
week.
this
We're
could
gonna
be
start doing
a
Tipsy Bowl of the weeks.
remote ice bucket challenge this week, Aiden.
It could be. Oh my god! Imagine me filming myself, pouring it on myself,
At least I have some people here to
just
help me. You got to
in
do it solo.
just in the middle of the street. They're like, "Who's this guy?"
Someone calls the cops on you. Who's this freak in my street just dumping ice on himself?
This is gonna be the Tipsy Bowl of the week. We're gonna start doing that
I
every
like
week.
it. I like it.
Um, that'll be a fun game to watch. I'm interested to see what goes on with that. Next up, Colts at Texans. The Texans are 1.5 point favorites,
Hmm.
39 and a half. Did you ever think the Texans are going to be favorites this year?
And I think it's wrong. I think the Colts are going to win. I thought the Colts looked pretty good. They looked far better than I thought they would.
And Stroud, I believe, is questionable with a shoulder, which is
That might help the
new.
Texans. That actually, I'm not even kidding. That might help
Davis
the
Mills,
Texans.
baby.
Davis Mills is, I don't know. Listen, I understand like the upside, and I know that Davis Mills was horrible last year, but right now, Davis Mills is a better quarterback than CJ Stroud. I really don't care what anyone says. Like Davis Mills has had games in this league where he looked like a productive NFL quarterback. I know he's not very good,
He
but
his
he did
first
have some
season.
great games in his rookie year.
Yeah, last year was not great, but his
No,
rookie year,
he was very
he looked
productive.
like
He
a
had some good
viable
games.
starter. He was
Yeah,
one of the better starters,
yeah,
rookie starters in the league. But
yeah. So I
yeah,
actually think that that helps them. And honestly, if Davis Mills plays, I'd take Houston to win. If Stroud plays, I'll take Indy to win. I know that might be the weirdest take anyone's ever made with that caveat in there, but I think it's true. I really don't like Stroud, or not like personally. I don't know the guy. I don't really know much about him. But like as a football player, he's not very good. And Richardson, I thought was wildly impressive. Obviously, he has to do a much better job of protecting himself, especially when the
yep,
game is essentially over. I don't know why. Why he's really in the game. I understand you want him to get more reps, but that's what practice is for. And B, if you're going to be in the game, that situation, why are you risking getting hurt like that? So, but that's something that you can work on with him and
yeah.
maybe say, hey, a guy like Cam
Settle down,
Newton,
buddy.
very athletic like you were, won an MVP, and then all of a sudden he kept doing that stuff, and now he's out of the league. So we don't want that to happen to you. We
Yep,
want you to protect yourself better. So hopefully they get his mind right in that sense.
I agree. Completely agree. Next up, 49ers at the Rams. Rams are 7.5 point dogs. 45 and a half is the over under. This is a game where I see the 49ers smacking the Rams.
Wow.
I think that the Rams are. I think last week was a little bit of a an outlier.
You thought it was a
I don't
fluke
know.
last week?
I think it was a fluke. I think it was a fluke game. I mean I just look at this defense that played pretty well and I look at it and I'm like, why are they playing well? I mean, like
Yeah.
why are they playing? I mean, they have Aaron Donald. They've got a couple guys here and there,
It's
but
not like
they
McVay's a defensive coach.
no, yeah, they're one of the more weak rosters in the entire league and offensively too. I mean, Matt Stafford,
Yeah.
who I expect to take a step back this year, I
Hmm.
mean, if he's looking like how he did week one, then this will be a more interesting offense than what I thought. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was an outlier. I don't think Tutu Atwell and
Yeah. Yeah.
Puka Nakoa are going to go for 250 yards combined and 20
Yeah. I
catches
can't say I
against
blame
this
you on that
Niners
one.
team. They're
Yeah.
not going to do it against the Niners. It's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
And
So,
another thing to
yeah,
add to
like,
your point even more, that Seattle game, Seattle had them down on the ground a few times, and they just didn't deliver the finishing blow.
yeah.
And that's not something that's going to happen with San Fran. When they smell blood in the water, they're all over you. They got weapons galore on offense. Fred Warner threw one of the biggest hits. I know
Oh my
Najee
God.
Harris rather has fallen off a bit, but I've never seen him get hit like that. Fred
Yeah.
Warner fucking killed him. That was
Yeah.
insane. But yeah, the Niners have playmakers all over the place. They're a really smart football team. Probably have the smartest team, I would say, in the NFL. It seems like everyone on that team is always on the same page. They've been in almost every situation, so they just know how to get plays done. And when they smell the blood in the water, like I just said, they're going to put you away. So they're not going to let LA hang around. It could stay close for a quarter or two, but at some point, San Fran's going to run away with this one.
And can we also finally say it? Because I'm kind of ready to say it. I don't want to throw it out there as a lock, but I think Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, oh
I
yeah. I'm
has
100%
he
in on that. Yeah.
has he shown us for even a quarter that he's not like
No,
besides maybe like
Aiden. The only
like
time,
was it
really,
that
the
playoff
only
game?
big moment he didn't step up. He couldn't. He got to the NFC
Got
Championship
hurt.
game as a rookie, and he popped his elbow out. Like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
think he's legit, man.
I'm going to knock on some wood for him, but barring that elbow injury, they could have easily beat the Eagles, and I think they would have beat the Eagles, and I think they would have been in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think Brock Purdy's easily a franchise quarterback. At this point, I think it's where do you rank him? I think he's in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, uh, this first half is gonna say a lot because it'll either prove he's top 10, pushing maybe a top 7 spot.
Yeah, it might be. Listen, me saying
Yeah.
he's top 10 might be a massive overreaction, but to this point, what else has he shown you?
Oh
Honestly,
yeah.
like he's been great. So I know a lot of people are going to point to weapons. Okay, Mahomes has weapons. Burrow has weapons. Allen has had weapons. Lamar now has weapons. I know he didn't earlier, but now he does. So I think the weapons argument to this point, when comparing quarterbacks, that has to be thrown out the window because everyone has weapons outside of Mac Jones.
I
Like,
like to finish. Hey, don't forget Kendrick Bourne. I love that
or
guy.
Hunter. I love
And
Hunter.
Hunter too.
I love Hunter.
I Kendrick is my guy.
No,
Like I
honestly,
love him.
I do think that Hunter Henry is like a top, like second tier tight end. I don't think he's elite, but I think he's very like he is damn good. And
I mean,
I think
yeah.
he's one of those guys that you only know if you were a Charger fan or a Pats fan. But you can't sleep on this guy. What, he had 9 touchdowns max rookie year. He's
Uh-huh.
developed a bit of blocking now. Hunter Henry's damn good.
Yeah, and give him that volume, and he'll prove
Oh
that he's
yeah,
that guy. I love it. I agree. You're going with the Niners here.
yeah, yeah. I am.
All
I don't
right.
even know what the line is, but they'll cover it.
Giants at Cardinals. Over under is 40 points, and the Cardinals are plus 4
Okay,
underdogs.
okay. The Cardinals should be plus 14. If I know anything about Brian Daboll, who, in my opinion, is one of the best motivators in the NFL, maybe a perfect combination of motivator slash like smarts and IQ in the league. He's like, what's a good way to? He has like Dan Campbell's motivation skills, maybe a little less, with Doug Peterson offensive knowledge. I think he's that smart, and I think
Mhm.
he's that good of a motivator. So you put that combination together after you lose to your main rival 40 to nothing to open your season. Embarrassing. Completely embarrassing. What better get right game is there than a team that may end up being the worst team we've ever seen in the NFL? So I think that they are going to destroy the Cardinals. I know they showed some fight last week. Thank God I don't have to retire because if they won, I would have. But I'm still here, obviously. But no one's going to be taking the bus after this game. You're not even going to have to ask that question in the locker room. No one's going to be speaking to him. I hope that guy gets fired by midseason. That's a joke. I will never get over that. Who took a bus? Who drove? Is that really what we're here for? Really? Who Ubered?
uh,
Who rode a bike? Who cares? Who cares? Like,
oh gosh.
if I met my boss, because that's what he is. You're in the NFL. It's a job. You're meeting your boss. If I met my boss and he said, "What was your method of transportation today?" I would walk out of the office. Not like, "Hi, how you doing? How you been? Nice to meet you. How'd you get here?" I don't know. I don't
What?
know. I woke up. I don't know. What's wrong with that guy? What's wrong? I've
uh,
never seen more clear tanking. I've never seen more clear tanking. It frustrates me. I hope Caleb Williams screws them over. I know he already said he will, but I hope he goes through with it. Pull the Eli. Don't go to your San Diego and go to, I don't know, like be the Pats backup quarterback. Maybe something like that.
You'd love that, wouldn't you?
That would be great. It'd be great. He could hold the snap. Maybe if Mac wants to take a break, throw him in there.
Hold us that. Yeah, no, I think that the Giants are going to take care of business here. I got the Giants -4. I think it's
Not
going to be a
just take
statement game.
Aiden -40. They're gonna kill them. Like I can't believe I don't even know his name. So and I'm not gonna learn his name. If I hear it, it's gonna be in one ear and out the other. For the rest of the year, I'm gonna call him that guy. When I say that guy, I am referring to the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He sucks. He sucks.
He's really bad. And you can
Awful.
tell Ben hates him.
He's
uh,
who likes him?
not many people. I don't even think the team is
No,
behind them yet.
nor should they.
And we'll
Yet,
see. I mean,
yet.
unless
What
they
do you mean?
win.
When you say yet, you're inferring that they will be behind him at some point. No, no, they won't be. He
Ready?
sucks. He sucks. Like, my God.
So I'm assuming you're on the Giants here.
Yeah, yeah, I am. I would take them
uh,
if I could make like an alternate line of -24. I would take it.
he might be able to. Um,
I'll look into that.
we'll
I'm
see
gonna
when
look into
Benny hits that and becomes a millionaire. Next game
that.
we've got Jets at Cowboys. Um, this is going to be interesting, Benny.
I agree.
Aaron Rodgers.
I
No
agree.
Aaron Rodgers.
First
Cowboys
off,
are 9-point favorites,
I
38 and a half.
feel like we should share a message for our many near and dear Jet fans. I do feel awful for you. I do. And this is the first time I have ever said that about the Jets. I feel genuinely awful and sick to my stomach for the people who waited a full offseason for that guy to be their quarterback and how
Yeah.
excited they were. Like, that sucks. That does suck.
No, it does. It really does. We talked about it a little bit. It's almost like unbelievable
Yeah,
how it all unfolded.
they are cursed.
Um,
They're cursed. Did you hear Stephen A. Smith say that there was Jet fans crying walking out of the stadium?
I think our friend did too.
Oh, man. Oh, man. The poor guy.
I don't think I
Poor
would
guy.
be. If oh
If
my
I
God,
was a Jet fan,
if I was a Bucks fan and Brady came over, if I was a Bucks and Brady fan and Brady came over to the
yeah.
Bucks and that first year that happened, I'd
Aiden,
easily be
four plays
crying.
in. It's not the first year. It's the first
Yeah, yeah,
drive.
first try.
It's his fourth snap.
Oh, it's really a tough pill to swallow.
It's rough.
Um, but
But moving on to the
let's
game.
yeah, it's the game. The Cowboys are 9-point favorites, and it's a 38.5 over under. I kind of want to take the under just because might be the two best defenses in the league.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I do think that Zach Wilson and Dak Prescott being two more turnover prone quarterbacks
Yep.
that picks, fumbles, whatever it is, might lead to defensive scores, which then ruin that number.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to touch it just for that reason, but it's something to monitor. I think the Jets are going to keep it close, man. I think there's something to be said for knowing that you're without a star quarterback. And like they did last year, the defense knew that they had to be great, and they knew that they had to contain teams to what? Under 20 if they had a chance. Like even less, even under, 17 if they had a chance. So when you play like that, you play more motivated, you play almost, dominant instead of just like good football. You play dominant. Sauce is getting picks. There's sacks. Quinnen is doing great. I think that this team might keep it close. I don't think they're gonna win. I don't think they're gonna beat the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are legit, not as legit as people might think after week one. That's just kind of more of a fluke blowout. But I do think that the Cowboys are a good team, so I don't think they're gonna lose in this situation. But I do think the Jets might keep it close. I think it might be a
Yeah.
4 point game.
No, I actually 100% agree with you, and whether or not it's correct and it's the correct assumption on the part of Jets fans or just correct in general, I think the general consensus among Jets fans after this game is going to be we could make the playoffs with Zach Wilson as our quarterback. And I know that might be
Yeah.
insane coming from me, maybe the
No,
biggest
no, yeah.
Zach Wilson hater like out there. I think he stinks. But I do think that there has been a level of progression there. I think it has been instilled in him that, hey, listen, you really don't have to make every play. Now, whether or not he goes through with that when shit's hitting the fan, that remains to be seen. But I think they're going to keep it close. I don't think they win. I think they lose a close game. I think they. What's the over under in this, Aiden?
38 and a half.
Yeah, I think it's just under that. I think it's going to be like a 20-17 type game. I think the Cowboys win on a field goal at the end of it. I think that it's fought tooth and nail the whole way. Um, but yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys to win at the end of it because they are just a better team with a better quarterback and I think a better head coach. But I think the Jets defense is going to keep it close and they're going to keep it competitive. And I think at the end of it, Jets fans will be like, hey, listen, if we can do that with the Cowboys, who some people are taking to come out of the NFC, maybe we're not dead. So I think there will be a slight level of
Yeah.
optimism for Jets fans after this one.
Hey man, it's gonna be a good game, I think. And anyone who doesn't think so obviously didn't watch this Jets team last year. Commanders at Broncos. I don't think we need to talk about this one too much. I
Can we
think the
skip it?
Broncos.
Can
Yeah,
we
I think
just
the
skip it?
Broncos will win, but screw it. We're gonna skip that one.
Like,
I don't
I
even.
don't
There's no
care.
effort there. I
I
don't
don't
even.
care.
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
If Sean Payton will
Sunday,
make some stupid play call, they'll win. Like,
Sunday night football. Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots are 3 point dogs. 46 and a half is the over under there. I'll start first. I think that the under 46 and a half is a good play. I think that Bill's going to try his best to take away that
yeah,
deep ball. He tries to limit or take away one thing of an offense usually. And I think that it's obviously the deep ball. I mean, as much as you can, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, it's going to be tough, but I think he'll try to take away the deep ball. He'll succeed for the most part, and it'll be a run heavy game for the Patriots. Kind of keep away football from the Dolphins. Me eating that clock, using Zeke, using Ramondre. And I think the Pats, you can't go down 0-2 to start the year like this, especially two home games. You can't do that, especially if you really want to do something this year, and it's a big year for Bill and Bill O'Brien and Mac especially. I think the Patriots win this game. Um, Patriots +3, baby. Let's ride.
it is with great sadness
Oh boy.
and fear that I will say that the Pats are going to lose this game.
Oh,
Um, I don't think their season will necessarily be over. I still
is that a
think
tear? You have a
no,
tear coming?
no. Maybe after Sunday night, but um, no. In all honesty, all realness, I think the Pats are a good team. I think they proved it last week against Philly. Obviously, we're not here for moral victories, but I mean, everything you're seeing in the headlines is right. Like, you got to find a way to win these close games. They were doing it Mac's rookie year, which is encouraging, obviously, that maybe they can start doing it again. But the main thing that was really concerning to me was it it really wasn't Mac's fault what happened last week when they didn't win. To me, the pick six, was it a great throw? No. Was it perfect? No. Is that a pick six most of the time? No. It usually either falls right out of Kendrick's hands, gets batted to the ground, doesn't usually just launch straight up into Slay's hands like that. Like that was kind of bullshit. That was a little wild. The Zeke fumble, inexcusable on his part. I know that he was recovering a bit from a kind of a tough catch. He kind of not Mac misread it. Zeke misread the pass itself, which made him adjust to it. And then he fumbled, which he just never does. So that was weird. Hopefully that's not a trend that continues. The defense looked great. I think the key, if they do beat Miami, will be to sack Tua, get up in his grill, maybe penetrate that line a bit. Um, but yeah, I just Miami, like I shit on Tua, and like it's kind of a joke because he is good. Like, damn, they're good. Damn, that offense is good.
The Tua
Like,
slander.
I've really, I'm usually very optimistic about the Pats. Like, very optimistic. And during all my downtime this week, I've watched the Pats replays. Not that I'm a coach or anything, but I've watched the Pats replays. I've watched the Dolphins replays. I watched Max, all of Max throws, all of Tua's throws. And it's not even to me, it's not even about which quarterback's better. It's about which team is better. I think Mac and Tua are relatively close in skill set, but the Dolphins are just so electric, and I don't think we have the speed to keep up with them. I think that Bill's going to scheme out something well. I think they're going to contain them as much as they can. But I think we see a similar loss to last week where either Miami drives down at the end when we're tied and they score a touchdown to win, or we're driving down and someone fumbles. I think it's going to be one of those. It just gives me a little bit of a Cincinnati vibe from last year when we came back, fumbled at the end, didn't win, or last week where our receiver just couldn't make a play. So I think it'll be a really good game. I just don't see us winning. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep a tally of our Patriot picks because I thought the Patriots would keep it close, but I had the Eagles winning last week, and
Hmm.
then this week we're obviously on different sides.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how this pans out. We'll do a little tally throughout the year, but I agree it's gonna be a tough game for sure. There's
Yeah.
no way this. I
It's
don't
one of those.
see it's gonna be easy at
I
all.
don't. It didn't even feel like this last week against Philly. I thought we could just go out there, and we almost did. We went out there, we played a great game. We got the bad bounces and almost won. To me, this Miami game is you have to go out there and get a couple lucky breaks and a couple lucky bounces. And I think in those situations you can't pick the team that needs the lucky break and the lucky bounce. It could happen. I'm not going to put my money on that. So I'm going to go with Miami. I think Tyreek's too good. I think the game plan is going to be to double Tyreek with both Joneses. Maybe have Duggar go over the top, move him out of that sub role that he's usually in. Um, and then Gonzalez having to take Waddle one on one. That's going to be a tough task for him in only his second game. So, yeah, to me, this game, we have to run the ball, um, which we saw Ramondre do well at the end of the game. It wasn't all game, but he did that well at the end of last week. And we have both tight ends need to show up in a big way. Mac needs to be great, and we need Tua to mess up. And to me, that's a lot that needs to go right for us.
I love that analysis there. I agree. It's you need a lot to go right. It's gonna be. I think it'll be an interesting game to see unfold. You know, Bill obviously scheming up against Tyreek is not going to be easy, but
And on top of that, sorry to cut you off again, Aiden, but why can't Bill beat Tua? Like, what the fuck? It's Tua. He's really like he's good. He's good, but he beat Peyton Manning like 11 times. And like you can't beat Tua? Like really? Like he's like a lefty Russell Wilson that isn't as good. In his prime Russell Wilson, he's far better than Russell Wilson now. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like I he's a bad matchup for Bill and I don't know why. Because it was even before he got McDaniel and those weapons. Even before then, he was beating Bill. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm scared for this week.
All right, moving to Monday Night Football, Saints, Panthers. I don't really care too much about this one, to be honest. Panthers are 3-point underdogs.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be close. I think the Saints win. I like what they're cooking there, but I don't love it. I don't,
yeah. I don't,
I don't have
I don't
huge
love
hopes
the
for them.
Saints. I don't love the Saints, but I think they kick their teeth in. I think they smoke them. I think that Carr. I make fun of Derek Carr all the time. Monty, our friend Monty, can attest to this. I was making fun of him all day on Sunday, but then at the end of it, he was like, "All right, we make fun of him, but like he is good." And then we look at his stat line. It's like, all right, yeah, like he is really good. Like he is a good player. He's just not as good as you would want him to be. But in this kind of situation, this is a Derek Carr game where he just goes and lights you up. So I'm going to take the Saints to win this one handily.
All right, and then Browns at Steelers. Steelers are underdogs, 2.5 points they're getting, and then 39 is the over under. Who do we like here, Ben? What do you think?
I weirdly like the Steelers. I weirdly like the Steelers.
Good, because I was leaning that way too.
I think they're coming off an embarrassing loss, and I think Cleveland's coming in too high off of their win. So I think
I agree.
it's kind of going to even out a bit. The Steelers are not as bad as they showed last week. They're really not. I really think that they clearly have a great defense, but Kenny was so bad. Kenny Pickett was so bad, and I don't think he'll ever play that bad again. He might not be great, but he's not that bad. He
Hmm.
really isn't, and that was kind of embarrassing. Maybe he's having a sophomore slump this year because he was great at the end of last year. So
Hmm.
that was really concerning, but I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go Steelers here. Not super confident, but I think they'll take care of business. I think
I
plus
think
two and a
Deshaun
half is
stinks.
solid.
I think Deshaun stinks. I really think that Deshaun Watson has lost it. I think that year off was
Oh my
obviously
God,
very.
some of his throws
He
were
can't read a
like
defense anymore. He really
well, some
can't
of
read
his
a
throws
defense.
were like a foot and a half too
Yeah.
weak, and they were just
Yep.
dying at the
Yep.
toes of the receivers. It was
Yeah. I
bad.
think the Browns' game plan. Obviously, you don't want to do this paying your quarterback that much money, but you have, in my opinion, easily a top five running back. Could be even better than that. And you have a great O line. Hand the ball off, run play action to Amari, running a deep in down the middle, and just pound the ball with Nick Chubb. That's the way you're going to win if you're Cleveland.
Yep. All right, we're gonna go rapid fire through this next section here. Week two, Thursday night football. Last night we're gonna do our reaction, and then we're gonna do our week one reactions rapid fire, just because we're going a little long. But let's start with the Eagles here. Eagles Vikings. Eagles win 34-28. Vikings, of course, have that backdoor cover right at the end of the game, and my $350 bet goes right out of the window that I don't even have I don't even have a window in my room. It just goes out of the somehow it went out of the window. And so that was a great day, obviously. But Vikings once again, offense dialed in.
Yeah.
364 for Kirk and 4 touchdowns. Alexander Madison did not do much. 8 carries for 28 yards, only had 11 receiving yards through receptions, but Justin Jefferson did his thing. 11, 159. I think he's on pace to be a top three receiver of all time. Like, if he
Wow.
keeps this up,
Wow.
I mean, if he keeps this
I
up,
mean, you're
because
not wrong. You're not wrong, but
he,
it's when you hear
I,
it, it's like, wow.
no, I mean, it's wow. I mean, I think there's definitely a chance that, or maybe four. I think there's
Hopefully he
definitely a
follows that.
chance.
Hopefully he follows that Randy Moss trend where it's like,
That's what I'm going for here. Yeah,
leave
I mean,
Minnesota and somehow end up with the Pats. So
I
I'm looking forward
completely
to that.
agree. I mean, if he went to the Pats, that'd be amazing. But we'd have to get our franchise quarterback first, if unless it is Mac.
Um, um, we have that. We have that
um,
already.
but he's on pace. I mean, he's literally on pace to set pretty much every single receiving record from like first to do this, youngest to do this. I mean, he is unreal. This guy's
No, he's
unreal.
phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
And so that's gonna be fun to watch. Jordan Addison, Pitt, stand up, baby. 72 yards receiving and a touchdown. Hawkinson, two touchdowns. KJ Osborne with the most wide open touchdown you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, Jalen Hurts, just under 200 yards passing, 35 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns with that little QB sneak tush push. Uh,
That's the
one.
dumbest play. That is the dumbest
All
play.
right, should it be banned? Tush
Yes.
push banned?
Yes.
Really?
100%. It's too
Really?
effective and it's not safe. It's not safe. They're gonna break his neck. Like they're gonna get him killed. Like he could. Like, I'm not like I'm really not joking. He could die running that play,
You serious?
dude. He could break his neck. What? It's not funny.
He could
Like,
break his neck from the tush push.
yeah, dude. Man, like, and also like on top of like, I don't think it's safe. But like on top of that, how do you stop it? And I know a lot of people will be like, all right, well, why don't they just run it? They value their players' safety at Sirianni. You fucking boob. Nick Sirianni's another guy. He's
uh,
a loser. He's a loser. I hate that
so
guy.
so, I mean, personally, I
And
don't think
also,
it should be banned, but
I want to talk about the Eagles really are not that good. They're really not. Or they are good, but they haven't been playing well. They don't look sharp. We've been hearing 2 weeks straight. We have to clean this up. We have to clean that up. We have to clean this up. Okay, fair enough. If they look like this, or I guess a better way to phrase it, how much longer can they look like that, even if they're winning games, until we're concerned? Until we're like, that's not sustainable. Because the last 2 times, or the last 2 weeks rather, that they've won, are those really sustainable ways to win? I think we're both in agreement the Pats should have won that game. Vikings shouldn't have won yesterday, but if Jefferson doesn't fumble into the end zone and get a touchback, they very well easily could have. So, I mean, the Eagles haven't been as dominant as I think a lot of people expected. And they honestly, I think they are suffering a bit of a hangover, but they're lucky enough to have won these games, which is a credit to them. Don't get me wrong. They're not playing their best and they're winning games, but I mean, hey, I'm not comfortable with where they're at. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I think figuring out that run game is going to be huge, just because it takes a lot of pressure off Jalen Hurts, and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine, and I think we're going to talk more about this next week because this has been something I've been wanting to touch on. But yeah, I think they'll be. I think they'll figure it out. I don't think they'll be. Um, you know, I think the slow start we would have seen it already. I think it's only going to trend up from here, and 2-0
Mm-hmm.
is great starting
2
spot. I
0's 2
mean,
0, man. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
it is what it is. But, I mean, hey, the sign of good coaching is even when you're winning, you're correcting stuff. So let's see if Sirianni gets on that.
Yes, we'll see that. Going back to week one, we're going rapid fire through all of these. First one we want to touch on a little bit more Eagles, but Patriots, Eagles. I know you have some thoughts. Let's hear it.
Yeah, Mac looked good. Bill O'Brien made some great play calls. Rough first quarter. No one was on the same page. Take out that first quarter, they win the game. So that's a reason to be encouraged. I know I just picked them to lose, but even if they lose this week, I could see them winning 10 games. That defense is great, and the offense looked efficient. So that's a Bill Belichick team for you.
Couldn't agree more. I think everyone pretty much came away saying, "Damn, the Patriots look pretty solid."
Yeah.
Um, and it's not good enough to show for 1-0, but it'll it'll give some hope there
Yeah,
for a lot of fans that might not have already had it.
even if they go like 7-10, they're going to be that team that it's like, all right, well,
You don't
five
want
of
to play
their
them in the
losses came
playoffs
in like
either.
one score
Yeah,
games. So, or that too, they go like 9-8 this weekend. You don't want to play them, but
yeah.
also if they go 7-10 and miss next year, it's like, all right, the Pats are going to be so much better than they were last year. So, I mean, either way you look at it, you don't want to miss the playoffs. It's not fun, but it's going to be a good development year, I think.
All right. Rapid fire through these next ones. We've got Bengals, Browns. Do you think that there's anything to worry about if you are Joe Burrow or if you are a Bengals fan? Yes or no?
No, no,
I
I
don't
don't.
think so either. I think it's just, beginning worries. Jags, Colts. Are we still confident on the Jags here?
Yep.
Let's do
Yes, I
it.
am.
Um, we already touched on the Bucks a little bit. Saints, we touched on a tad bit. 49ers look dominant. Steelers, are you worried about them or are they going to get back on track?
Um, any playoff hopes that I had for them gone, but
Oh,
you don't
really?
want to play them. You don't want to play them.
Okay, that's
I still
interesting.
think they're a good team.
Ravens, Texans. Ravens win 25-9. Are the Ravens a Super Bowl contender?
Gonna have to answer you in. I'll answer it by saying you got to see in October on that one.
Eh. I think it's a tough one to pick. I agree. Uh, Packers Bears are the Bears. Are they good?
Bears suck. Packers might be legit. That's my
All
takeaway.
right. Dolphins Chargers shootout. Tua Herbert.
Dolphins can't stop the run. Tua's legit good. Herbert's good. Chargers missed the playoffs this year.
Wow. Rams Seahawks something to be worried about.
Yes. Yes.
Rams, are they going to be good?
No.
All right.
Which
And
is why I'm worried
then
about the Seahawks.
and then last two here, Cowboys Giants, are the Giants going to make the playoffs this year?
No. No.
All right. Are the Cowboys the best team in the NFC?
Nope. Not by
All
a long
right.
shot.
And then to wrap this one up, Bills Jets, do the Jets make the playoffs with Zach Wilson or if they trade for another QB?
Depends which QB. And no.
All right. Well, I love that. We'll
I
wrap
think
this
Josh
one
Allen's
up.
legit in trouble, though. I do think Allen's legitimately in trouble. I don't think he's the same.
Agreed. Agreed. And we've been on this since last year. So definitely something to monitor throughout the year. And this week against the Raiders, if he doesn't take care of business, they're in trouble, boy.
Yep.
Um, all right. I mean, let's do it, baby. Week 2 coming up. Almost said week 3 again. Thanks for tuning in. We're
Pats,
Tipsy
please
Tailgate
get it done.
Media.
Come on, Bill. Bill, please. Please. Please,
Praying
please,
for
please.
Bill and Mac and maybe Zeke to do something. How about
Mac
that?
doesn't need our prayers. Mac's good.
He's
Mac's
got it.
good.
He's got it.
That was one of the things that was concerning. I know we got to wrap it up, but Bill didn't have a great game. Bill didn't have his best game. I'll leave it at that.
All right. We'll see what happens in week 2, and we'll be back with another week 3 episode. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and follow us on all of our pages at Tipsy Tailgate Media. Thanks for listening.